I'm Billy Mitchell, Video Game Player of the Century. I did the world's first perfect score on Pac-Man, 3,333,360. Ooh, it's exhausting to just say it. I began in the competitive world of pinball. It moved to Donkey Kong. But the greatest level of competition at the moment was Pac-Man. If I was going to be the best, I had to be the best at the game that was everywhere. So in 1999, I sent out a press release. I was as cocky as could be. They said, there's been 10 billion games played. How are you going to do it? I says, because I'm Billy Mitchell. You start off on the first board, but on board 21, that's where it reaches maximum difficulty. You have to navigate all the way to board 255, doing the same repetitive thing. You can't miss a dot, a prize, a blue man. You can't die once. You can't lose focus. You got to stay with it all the way there, 4 to 5 hours. You have to take a corner down to 1/60th of a second in order to create perfect timing. And keep your eye right here, right here. You have to do that over 29,000 times without making any mistakes and dying. You play 255 boards. On 256, there's enough memory left in the game for the left half of the board and not the right half. The right half is filled with computer garble, anything and everything that is not Pac-Man, different walls, different dots. That's what a perfect score is. The moment that score went up there, I thought, wow, I achieved perfection. You get to the end, there's nothing to do but die. There was nothing saying congratulations. There was nothing saying the end, game over. Nothing. The designer of Pac-Man, not only did he never think anyone would get to the end, he didn't know where the end was. He didn't know at what point the game would run out of memory. Everything to him is completely baffling. They never saw the split screen until I sent it to them. Masaya Nakamura, who's the godfather of video games, he crowned me Video Game Player of the Century for that and all the previous achievements. It doesn't get any higher than that.
It's cool to go back to those games that were so brutally hard as a kid where I couldn't even beat the first level and then learn how to absolutely destroy the games. It took me a very, very long time to even be able to beat Super Mario Brothers, for instance, and now I have the record in it. You may know me as Darby and on Twitch. My name is Brad, and I'm the world record holder in Super Mario Brothers.
So the goal of speedrunning is what?
The goal of speedrunning is to go fast. It took me 6,607 tries to set the record. I can feel my heart going kind of crazy in my chest. I get a little uncomfortable. I might notice my hands sweating more. I'll get antsy. I'll hit a button too early or too late, or I'll try to play too perfectly because I say, I may never get another opportunity like this. I better not blow it. Let's go all out. I think you need to be a very patient person to speedrun. As you come closer and closer to reaching the goal, like you get later and later in the particular run, these thoughts start going through your head. Could this be it? I hope I don't screw this up. The neat thing about speedrunning is that the expected outcome is failure. And the better you get at it, the more you fail. That was the game.
You just beat the game.
Yeah. That's like 30 seconds off of the record.
It was the game that coined a dozen catchphrases and made over $1 billion in quarters. But NBA Jam almost never saw the light of day.
Oh my! He's on fire!
This is NBA Jam game designer Mark Turmel.
So we put together a demo, a videotape, VHS. We sent it to the NBA and said, hey, we're making this cool game. And they immediately shut it down and said, no, we don't want the NBA logo in the arcades. So once we got rejected, we made a videotape of nice family entertainment centers. And we sent that back to them and said, look, your logo can be here. So they relented and provided the license. When we put it in the arcade for the very first time, there were no stats that differentiated the players. Everybody assumed that Shaq was a bad three-point shooter or Stockton could steal the ball. So we realized pretty quickly that we had to, up our game to match the real world.
No good!
Well, if it's just looking at pure attributes, I happen to be the best player in the game.
Showtime!
When you actually put in my secret character, it just shows question marks for the stats, but they're all 10s or 9s.
Take back from the outside! Count it!
I'm pretty good at NBA Jam.
To test the claim, we had Mark hack into the machine
There we go.
and turn on cheat codes.
All right, now we're talking.
Usually when somebody finds out that I've made NBA Jam, they say, I spent so much money on that NBA Jam, or, I flunked a class in college because of NBA Jam. Well, I look at the game now, I wish it were smoother, but it was the technology at the time.
Razzle dazzle!
The game still holds up today.
It's a time-honored thing to put your name on your artistic productions. Writers have their name on the book. Painters write their name in the corner. Why couldn't video game designers have their name in their games?
This is a story about one man who took on a giant tech company and changed the gaming world in the process.
My name's Warren Robinette. I'm the creator of Adventure, the first action-adventure game. This was a video game that I wrote working for Atari in the late 70s. They treated us badly in several different ways. No royalties, no name on the box, no external recognition, being told that we were easily replaceable. They disrespected us.
So Warren hatched the perfect plan.
What I did was I hid my name in the game in a secret room that was really hard to get to. When you got in there, the screen filled up with a flashing movie marquee that said, created by Warren Robinette.
Atari shipped out 200,000 copies of Adventure before anyone discovered Warren's secret room. How did they find out about that?
A 15-year-old boy in Salt Lake City wrote a letter to Atari, and he very clearly explained how to get into the secret room.
And Warren wasn't worried at all about repercussions.
What are they going to do? Take away my royalty? Well, they weren't giving us any royalties. Fire me? It so happened that I'd already quit.
But to Warren's surprise, his act of rebellion was well received by Atari's new lead game designer, Steve Wright.
He's musing to himself about this situation, and he said, it was kind of cool to have hidden surprises in video games. It's like waking up on Easter morning and going out and finding colored Easter eggs under the bushes and flowers.
Everything ended all right for Warren Robinette. You can't say the same for Atari.
Atari actually collapsed in 1 year. It imploded. Personally, I think there's some poetic justice there that the big, powerful, rich, New York, pushy guys could not defeat the one little 26-year-old programmer who just had a sneaky idea and pulled it off without telling anybody.
Tetris. It transcends age, culture, and language. It's a gamer and non-gamers game. But did you know Tetris has a Soviet past? Tetris is the brainchild of this man, Alexei Pajitnov. Alexei was a computer programmer in Russia. He worked for the Soviet Union at the Moscow Academy of Sciences. Alexei always had a propensity for math, computers, and puzzles. It was that propensity that led him to the creation of the best video game of all time. He drew inspiration from a little-known game, Pentamenos. Pentamenos was a puzzle board game in which you had to fit geometric shapes together. Alexei took the principles from Pentamenos, upgraded them, and created a computer game, originally only intended for himself. He named the game Tetris for two reasons. It's a combination of tetra, the Greek word meaning four, and tennis, Pajitnov's favorite sport. Because Tetris was created during work hours, the Soviet Union claimed all rights to both Tetris and all royalties.
Oi!
Fast forward to 1996, the rights to Tetris were finally signed over to Pajitnov. Tetris taps into our universal need to create order out of chaos, which is ultimately why it's one of the most iconic games in history.